As the shadows descend below the Wasatch Range, a home playoff game is in sight for Real Monarchs as they seek their first postseason berth in their 4th year in MLS NEXT Pro. This evening at Zions Bank Stadium, it's the 5th place team in the Western Conference playing host to U Tsukanome and 13th ranked Tacoma Defiance, who are far from out of it themselves. Now, there's no denying that the focus of a lot of fans in Seattle will be elsewhere this evening, but this next generation of pros has a job to do in Utah, and we are so glad that you've made us a part of your Sunday night here on MLSNextPro.com. Let's take a look at our cast of characters this Sunday evening in Utah, starting with the home side under head coach Mark Lowry in his 2nd full season as they close in on potentially the first playoff berth. He makes 5 changes for their midweek match against the Town FC, which finished in a 0-0 shootout loss. Most notably, Hazarkani is out and Sandoval in on the front line. Owen Anderson joins the ranks and will be tasked with some creative responsibility today as well. Alfin, another switch in goal. Meanwhile, for the visitors, it's Wade Weber at the helm this evening. Interim coach Michael Morris is away on international duty, as are some players, but it will be Charles Doddsey who leads the line. Sebastian Gomez will be playing a more retreated position in midfield this evening, and Yu Tsukanome, with 13 goals to his name this season, playing in behind as the number 10. For a Tacoma Defiance team that is short on defenders right now, they've had to bring in a couple of academy players here. They got Mo Shore making the start in goal, and it is Etienne Veillard who makes his first squad of the season. Debuted back in 2022 with the young right back getting the start this evening. As, of course, Seattle Sounders involved in a big one, the League's Cup final going on, and that has certainly played a major impact on this matchup that we have this evening. But it hasn't stopped the fans from getting out here at Zions Bank Stadium as we are underway between Real Monarchs in the dark jerseys and Tacoma Defiance in the light blue. Parker Johnson here with you on MLSNextPro.com. So happy to have you with us. Tacoma still finding its way since the departure of Hervé Diesse in July. Michael Morris took over as the interim head coach, and he is tasked with coaching the United States under-20 national team. Coming up here in the international break, they've got a couple of friendlies taking place in Spain. They're going to be training in Morocco, and there are some players from this Real Monarchs team, in fact, that are going to be involved in that. Zambrano is one of them, and he's on the ball here. He does get the start before heading off for international duty. A mid-season loanee coming in after his contract ended with the B team of Vitoria in Portugal. He scored 3 goals in his 5 starts. A hot start for Zambrano, and he will be the focal point up top for Mark Lowry's men. Coming off that 0-0 draw on Wednesday against the Town FC, who Mark Lowry told me he thinks is the best team in the Western Conference right now. They've had some games in hand, so they aren't at the top of the standings. They're in 3rd place as we start this match, with a couple games going on and 1 left to kick off after us this evening. But the Town have been the form team of late, and for Real Monarchs to go there and get that 0-0 draw, Mark Lowry was so impressed with his team's ability to execute the game plan and play what was a potential playoff preview, a road game against one of the best teams in the league. He said they went in with a defensive mindset, wanted to stay in the game as long as possible, and then try to open it up towards the end of the match and create some chances themselves. It's a nice ball played in there by Brian Campas Sandoval. He replaces Jesus Barea in the starting lineup. 15 appearances now on the year for Sandoval. 7th start of the campaign, and does have 2 goals to his name for Real Monarchs. This comes in and dealt with well by Tacoma. They've got a patched up back line, the visitors. Damian Alvarez starting with Tino Lopez in the back. Lopez coming back from injury, just making his 2nd start. And some new fullbacks as well. The likes of Charlie Gaffney starting at left back. Typically plays on the opposite side. He's not naturally a left-footed player. And then Vallard, as we mentioned, coming in at right back. The academy product, just 18 years old. He's forced to defend here against Rivera. Cleaning it up, using Dodzi as his backboard. Quite a presence up top and a handful for defenders, Charles Dodzi. 6'4" Ghanaian. A player who's had to rotate between positions this season for Tacoma Defiance. He used to originally play as a number 9. He got signed as a central midfielder and was playing. It's not like he transitioned from being a number 9 to being an attacking midfielder. He was playing as a 6, a defensive midfielder in front of that back line, using his enormous frame and his ability to keep the play ticking, play simple passes. That's how Wade Weber described it to me, but partway through the season, they just decided that they were gonna need a little more oomph up there, with Osaze de Rosario going permanently to the first team. Boy, has that paid off for Seattle Sounders. We'll get back for that in just a moment as the ball comes in from the right. Launched away by the Monarchs and out to safety. So we touched on De Rosario, still the 2nd leading goal scorer for Tacoma Defiance in the Next Pro season with 8. But he has gone up to the first team and made quite the impact. Seattle Sounders taking on Lionel Messi and Inter Miami this evening on Apple TV Plus in the Leagues Cup final. And he has the Sounders ahead as we speak, 1-0. A true pipeline to the first team that Tacoma Defiance has developed as the whistle goes in favor of the visitors, and really just a dream path to follow for everybody else. Wade Weber was saying that although the team has slipped in the standings down to 13th place, they're very proud of what they have accomplished this year, making it to the 4th round of the Open Cup, producing 3 consistent first-team players who started the season with Tacoma Defiance, really showing how that developmental model is meant to work. Carly latching on. Vallard comes forward to head. Dodzi. Here comes Gaffney striding forward. To the end line, touched over and behind. The first action of the match for Trace Alphin results in a corner kick for Tacoma Defiance. Great play getting down to the end line. See the offensive burst from Charlie Gaffney getting into the attack, working with Rafferty Petter up the left side. Carly drops it back to Vallard. Nice ball shaped into the back post, set across, and the flag is up. and everybody knew it. As soon as Veyard shaped up for that cross, the Real Monarchs line stepping up dutifully and playing the perfect offside trap. An indication of the ranks in order for Mark Lowry as this team has shifted into a 3-back formation over the past 5 matches. I know we showed you 4 in the pregame, but he was telling me about that shift, and he was saying that it has really solidified this squad. It was born out of necessity. They had some injuries at the center back position, only had 1 fit center back, and they had to drop a couple of players who typically play as outside backs. One of them, Ruben Massalas, working it forward here. As the ball played through, Sandoval. Oh, and Anderson sees it cut out by the Tacoma defense, but a good idea from Sandoval, who's been active early on. Lowry applauds the work of Farnsworth as he battles away with Dodzi. Farnsworth is that one natural center back. Flanked in this one by Max Jennings and Ruben Massalas. Will Mackey had been a huge part of their defensive solidity over recent matches as well. 2 clean sheets in their last 5 since making that change, and Mackey had played the last 9 matches in goal as Alfin comes in to spell him this evening. Sandoval up the left touchline, dancing with Veyard. That was Moisa. Trying to do it all himself, and eventually running into the light blue shirts as Dodzi's work continues. He's got a man in front of him. It's Petter who has to wait for the ball to reach him and wanted the return to Dodzi, but he didn't continue his run. He had already put in such an effort to win those first couple of loose balls for Tacoma Defiance, just didn't have anything left in the tank. Griffin Dillon continues it forward. And now they are able to drop it back to the back line. This portion of the match is brought to you by Zions Bank, the official bank of Real Monarchs. Lovely Zions Bank Stadium, our 7:30 local time kickoff this evening. Perfect night for soccer. Rivera. Dillon going down and does draw the whistle eventually. Referee waited just a moment to see if there was any advantage developing. None comes for Real Monarchs, and they get the free kick opportunity. This will be about 35 yards from goal as we get another look. Dillon very aware, knowing that Dodzi was always going to try to come in and win the ball, just puts his body between the ball and Dodzi, forcing that contact. A rising header comes in from Jennings. Had a lot of power, but directed straight into the turf. So Real Monarchs 3-1-1 in their last 5 games, a little more solid with the switch to the back 5. It's been a bit of a different story for Tacoma Defiance. Ball fired over the top. It's Juan Giovia playing at the wingback spot and making plenty of inroads. Tacoma Defiance just 1 win in their last 5. They've only picked up 4 of a possible 15 points since the departure of Diese. And really just a lot of uncertainty and inconsistency. Wade Weber at the helm this evening as Mo Shore comes out to claim. Weber is the director of development for Seattle Sounders. His primary role is actually in developing coaches within the program rather than players, but he was a coach for 6 seasons with then S2 as they transitioned into Tacoma Defiance. 3 years as an assistant, then 3 years as the head coach before he moved into his more developmental role with the Sounders. So he's someone who knows this team well. He knows a lot of the players. In fact, he signed many of these Tacoma players. And without Michael Morris, who is the interim coach for the rest of the season, he is the man on the sideline tonight. Morris was with the team all week. And in fact, they all drove to the airport together before they came out to Salt Lake City. But they hopped on different flights, with Morris heading out to coach the U20s and getting a head start on that trip, while a couple of the players do participate tonight. Zambrano in the lineup, and Aiden Hazarkani has been called into a U20 camp, a different one. He's in the domestic camp this window, but he is available off the bench for Real Monarchs. Playing out of the back dangerously, and good pressure from Tacoma Defiance as Wade Weber's men able to force the high turnover and earn themselves a corner kick. As we tick into the 15th minute of play. The option short is certainly there if they'd like to take it. Peter Kingston will leave it off to Carly. In it goes, and sent back out at the near post. A domineering header from Real Monarchs. Sandoval. On loan from Millonarios in Colombia. Sandoval had back-to-back games with a goal earlier this month. Wasn't in favor over the last couple of matches in terms of the starting lineup, but has been a regular on the bench. Classic winger profile in comparison to Jesus Barea, who tends to float a little more centrally, the man that he replaces in the starting lineup this evening. Nice 1-2, worked for Dodzi. He's tracked down, but he sees the goalkeeper, and he puts it wide of the post. Only had Trace Alfin to beat, and Dodzi unable to convert. Great build-up play from Tacoma Defiance. It's simple, but effective. Dodzi gets it wrong at the final moment. Biggest chance of the match so far coming in the 17th minute. There's a slip from the Monarchs, and I think they're lucky to have drawn the foul as Owen Anderson lost his footing. Chauncey doing so much defensive work, able to hold up Sandoval. Gomez driving at the back line and draws another foul for Tacoma Defiance. Gomez playing in a deeper role for this match. Wade Weber said that he's a player who is on the verge of that first team opportunity, Sebastian Gomez. He's performed so well in MLS Next Pro, 9 goals, 6 assists in 48 career matches with the reserve team. He's trained with the first team, and this match will provide an opportunity for Gomez to prove that he can pull the strings from a little bit deeper. Weber described it as a different type of challenge. You're assessed differently, and you need to be a leader from a number 6 or a number 8 position than you are from being a forward, where you can be judged so easily if you create a goal or an assist. He's got different responsibilities and still needs to affect this match as the build-up comes all the way through, and Kingston shrugged off of it by Farnsworth. At a player like Gomez heading into this match as someone who could really dictate how this game ends up going, because there are a number of first teamers missing from both sides who typically do participate in the Next Pro teams. Tacoma Defiance without Kaito Yamada, their trustworthy center back who hasn't missed a game this season, but he's serving a red card suspension after the last match against Portland Timbers, a 2-1 defeat. Owen Anderson onto it for the Monarchs. Battling away in the corner. Gaffney's able to leave it out for a throw, or correction, that was Tino Lopez covering the left back position. 23-year-old Duke products. Going to be offside against Real Monarchs, a silly mistake. When you throw it in from so far into the corner, usually a pass back to the man who threw it in does result in an offside flag unless they jump back on quickly. Seen the goalkeeper out here, and it's an ambitious effort. Fans seem to applaud it. And it would be interesting to hear Mark Lowry's opinion on such a try. Tacoma's been very insistent on letting the Monarchs walk the ball forward and waiting for the right moment to step up, as Tsukunome does here. Part of that adaptation we talked about with Sebastian Gomez is the fact that he often leads the press when he is playing in the more attacking midfield position. So players like Tsukunome tasked with a little bit more responsibility in that regard here. You can tell Tacoma Defiance just trying to reserve their energy. This has historically been a very difficult place for all forms of the Seattle second team to play. Switched out to Villa. Dancing, jiving, and does knock it off of the Tacoma player. No, he did not. This portion of the match is presented by Intermountain Health, the power of we. Still seeking our opener. Charles Doddsey of Tacoma Defiance coming closest so far. And a one-on-one with the goalkeeper. So just a touch wide. An even match playing out so far. This is a 2-on-1 for Tacoma Defiance, and that is a disappointing ball across, as Petter was unable to find the on-rushing Carly. Hasn't had a ton of game time this season. 1 assist to his name across 9 appearances. And this is his first start since June 11th, which was, in fact, a match against Tacoma Defiance. Drawing a foul from Farnsworth. That match back on June 11th, a 2-1 win for Real Monarchs, part of a 4-game unbeaten run that they've had at home against Tacoma Defiance over the past year and change. I should correct myself, 4 games total unbeaten. It's been longer than that since Tacoma have been able to come into Salt Lake and find a win. It's been since 2023, September 15th, almost 2 years. It's a series that dates back to both teams' time in the USL Championship, back when it was S2, and Real Monarchs claimed a USL Cup and a USL Shield. So they naturally had the better rub of the rivalry in those days, but since it's been in Next Pro, Tacoma has tightened the series. 6 wins in 11 tries in the current competition. Tukanome. First real chance to influence this match. He's been watched very closely in the middle. The likes of Moisa and Dylan. Pass right into the feet of Real Monarchs there from Tacoma. Zambrano shrugging at his lack of options. But the Monarchs happy to build. Dylan caught up a bit in the turf. Petter carries it away. There was a little bit of late contact there, so whistle blown by Ryan Shacklin. As we get word of a second goal in Seattle, the Sounders up 2-0 on Inter Miami, closing in on a Leagues Cup crown. Sure that will have filtered down to Wade Weber and his staff. Weber, once upon a time, part of the very first edition of Seattle Sounders back in 1994. They were a member of the APSL, the preliminary American Soccer Leagues, before MLS came around. So he has really through and through with the Sounders. Told me that's his hometown team, and he is a bit disappointed to be missing the League's Cup match. He calls it the messy final. But he said it'd all be worth it if his team can come away with a victory against Real Monarchs. They've had the best chances so far, and Dodzi picking it up again. Petter's available on the far side, keeps it in play. Petter squeaks it across to the back post. Anderson doing the defensive work. Played into the corner and out very nicely. They draw a foul in the process as applause comes from Mark Lowry. Pinged forward into the feet of Zambrano, holding up brilliantly. He rolled forward, born in Ecuador, moved around a bit, played in the Philadelphia Union Academy, and then made his way to Florida before joining Real Monarchs. Lowry said he's about 60 minutes fit for this match before he heads off to play with the U20s, but wanted to get him one last opportunity to play. It's Dodzi who lays on the turf here. Really nothing more than some lost winds as the players turn this into a de facto hydration break. And we will get another look at what happened to Dodzi, number 40. It was a vicious strike that came out from Ruben Masalas. Hopefully nothing more than a bit startled and catching his breath. Those can really hurt. Thumbs up from the trainer is a good sign. Dodzi seems to have mostly collected his bearings. So far in this one, home side leading with 2 shots to 1, but a fairly uneventful first 31 minutes outside of that big chance for Dodzi. And as he prepares to return, Real Monarchs trying to take advantage. Up a man briefly. See if the Defiance are able to get him back on for this, to help defend this corner. Salas over to give the left-footed delivery. And it is an accomplished left foot. He's a player who's much more familiar playing as a left fullback than a center back. Is there a touch of class? It's a nice ball, but walled off at the back post. Played forward by Farnsworth. Curled Sandoval, take a bow. It's a moment of brilliance to break the deadlock. And in the 33rd minute, Brian Capaz Sandoval scoring his 3rd goal of the season and putting Real Monarchs in front. Let's see this one again from the young Colombian. As the ball came back on the second opportunity from the corner kick, he opens his hips. And that is the stuff that you dream about when you go to bed at night. Any goal scorer worth their weight in gold has pictured that one a million times. Sandoval pulling it off effortlessly and a huge smile on his face as a result. And I have bad news for the Tacoma Defiance players, which is that they won't be getting their first shutout of the season. Cranked here by Anderson and sky high over everything and out of the stadium. Faked like they were going to play it short, and Defiance instead go long here. Dodzi available. Can't bring it in under his spell. His first real run after coming back on the pitch. He's free in the middle again. And it would have been a very difficult control, to be fair to the Ghanaian striker. He did also have Carly behind him, but you have to take a shot at that. Just doesn't quite pluck it off of his big toe. This portion of the match is presented by America First, the official credit union of Real Salt Lake. America First has game-changing solutions for every financial need, so join the winning team today at americafirst.com. Petter crafting up a Travella pass. Dodzi thought he may have been onside, and for the second time, Tacoma Defiance have put the ball in the back of the net, but after the defenders had stopped playing, offside whistle goes, and Real Monarchs interested in getting this back underway quickly, sensing some momentum growing in this match, although Tacoma have attempted the quick counter punch a couple of times since the goal. A beautiful one from Brian Sandoval. Those of you who may be joining us a little bit late after the 3-0 Seattle Sounders victory in the League's Cup final, right here on MLS Season Pass on Apple TV+. Been taking this one in. Sandoval, our only goal scorer, but a nice even match between 5th place Real Monarchs and 13th place Tacoma Defiance. Playoff stakes on the line for both sides. Real Monarchs looking for their first playoff appearance in MLS Next Pro. And a win would help put them in the top 4 and get that home playoff game in the first rounds. Played through to Petter. Rafferty Petter, the Englishman, stymied as Villa carries it away. United States under-17 national. When we talk about the playoff stakes for Real Monarchs, Tacoma Defiance, despite being 13th out of 14 teams, I mean, everybody else is in it besides Sporting KC2, who have been eliminated. But the rest of the West is a complete mess down at the playoff line and below. A win here for Tacoma Defiance would put them within 2 points of the playoff line, and they could jump as many as 4 teams in the process. So a matter of 1 or 2 results strung together can go a long way, and Wade Weber did tell me that he felt like they had a squad tonight, despite the low numbers, despite the lack of first teamers, that could come in here and get a result against Real Monarchs. A team who is also hurt by international call-ups in particular in this one. The likes of Kobe Henry for Real Monarchs, off with the Trinidad Tobago senior team. That's Zambrano Hezarkani going in with the U20s. Gozo as well, who started the year with Real Monarchs, has worked his way to the first team, will be in with the under-20s in Spain. And then a couple of under-17 internationals in Luca Moisa and Gio Villa, who are on the pitch at the moment for Real Monarchs before heading off to join their squad. Foul drawn by Tacoma Defiance. Could be in a shooting position if they're feeling feisty. Six yards from goal. And then over it for Tacoma Defiance. Whipped in low and right into the wall. Visitors not making the most of that set piece chance. Ball might have had a chance as Kingston came onto it, but smart goalkeeping there from Trace Alfin. Just his third start of the campaign. Raleigh native who came up in the North Carolina FC Academy. Played collegiately at Wake, where he was a second-round draft pick this year for Real Monarchs. And a ton of draft picks they had. 8 in total, 4 first-rounders. An exciting piece of news for Real Monarchs fans as well. Lineker Rodriguez dos Santos, one of their first-round draft picks, available off the bench to potentially make his professional debut this evening. Moisa on the move. Zambrano swiveling. He's got Rivera outside him and finally does use the left back. Now the goal scorer is Sandoval. Controlled possession from Mark Lowry's men. Beautifully weighted in behind for Zambrano, looking for that opportunity to turn. It does appear that he was offside. Controlled possession from the home side. Trying to stamp their dominance on this match and get a second goal before the halftime break. Sukanome drops into the pocket. 13 goals this season. He plays it forward. Petter with a man on his back going down. We may see our first yellow card of the match. It is awarded to Maximus Jennings. A couple times that Tacoma have created problems in that similar pocket, whether it be Petter or Sukanome or Kingston. A lot of activity up the left side.
Yellow card, caution, Real Monarchs.
Great run from Petter to sneak in behind his man.
Maximus Jennings.
And that is where you see the inexperience on this back three. Players who are used to playing as outside backs, and they're used to having a center back for someone like Jennings, who plays on the right side, just off their left shoulder. So they know if somebody tries to come in behind from the outside, they've got help defense. In that occasion, he didn't have the man there that he thought, and ends up on the wrong side of Petter to set up this set piece. They'll hope for something a little better than what they had a few moments ago from a similar position. Great range to stick this in the mixer and see what happens. It struck. It's dipping, but too late over the crossbar of Alfin, and ultimately no danger for Real Monarchs as they control this 1-0 lead with a couple minutes left in our first half. Again, just want to welcome those of you who may have been watching the Leagues Cup Finals. Seattle Sounders, a huge win. 3-0 over Inter Miami, and the opening goal scorer, Osaze De Rosario, who strutted his stuff for this very Tacoma Defiance team. 8 goals for the second team this season, and then doing it on the biggest stage at Lumen Fields in front of the best player in the world. De Rosario not scared of the spotlight. 4 goals he ends up with in Seattle's Leagues Cup campaign. Paul Rothrock on the score sheet as well for the Sounders, another player who started his career with S2. Mark Weber was telling me some stories about his day coaching Paul Rothrock with the second team. Tacoma Defiance trailing to Brian Sandoval's goal. As Real Monarchs try to make it 2. Skimmed header comes across, and Defiance will not be able to keep it in play. Good initial defending, though. And now a heads-up switch for Vayart and Gaffney to swap sides. Hearing there will be 1 minute of stoppage time to come. Once we hit the 45-minute mark, there was that impromptu water break as Doddsy got some treatment in the middle of the half. Rivera to launch in the throw. Flicked on. And it was better off finding a teammate than it was served as a shot. Shore collects it and barrels it out, looking for a teammate on the far side. But it's right back to Real Monarchs, who may have another opportunity to launch an attack before halftime. We'll see how quickly Trace Alfin chooses to move it here. Doddsy called forward on the languid press. Flipped forward, Sandoval coming in, as is Vayart. Doddsy trying to sneak in behind. Sukunome's ball caught under his feet. Lowry with 2 hands up just to say, let's play this carefully. It's not done so by Alfin. Final 15 seconds of the first half. Tacoma Defiance need to move quickly here. Searching for an equalizer in the dying moments. It's worked around the back. Referee considering. Play will continue for now. And there is the halftime break. So a lead for Real Monarchs as we hit halftime. A 33rd minute goal from Brian Sandoval. Back into the starting lineup and back on the score sheet. It was an absolute beauty. And we will show it to you later at halftime, but don't go anywhere. Our score at the half, Real Monarchs 1, Tacoma Defiance 0. Coming up, highlights, stats, and a feel-good story from FC Dallas that you will not want to miss. Stay with us, everybody.
At the end of the first half, the score, Tacoma Defiance 0.
Lionel Messi! Who else? The youngest MLS debutant, Kevin Sullivan.
Luna.
Yes! That is a banger! Absolute scorcher! Spectacular save from Dane St. Clair.
Action. Este verano la Leagues Cup regresa más fuerte que nunca. Comenzamos con 36 clubes. En la primera fase, cada equipo jugará contra 3 equipos de la liga rival para determinar su posición en la fase de eliminación directa.
The 4 top-seeded clubs from each league will move on, ensuring interleague matchups all the way through the quarterfinals.
3 naciones, 2 ligas y un solo campeón. En Leagues Cup 2025,
It's dominance on the line.
It is halftime in Harriman, Utah, where the score is 1-0 in favor of Real Monarchs as we take a look at the upcoming MLS Next Pro schedule. We are headed into what is the final full month of the season as September rolls around, and so there will be big matchups every single day. Starting on Thursday, Tacoma Defiance back in action against Whitecaps FC2 in a Northwest derby there, and then some other big matches in the Western Conference. Real Monarchs get to continue against Sporting KC2. The Town taking on Timbers 2. North Texas and Ventura County could be a tasty one out west as well, that these two will certainly have their eyes on. It wraps up on Monday with New England Revolution and Huntsville City in a heavyweight battle out east. So we are going to take a short break. Coming up, a story out of Dallas about saving a life. You don't want to miss it.
MLS debutant Kevin Sullivan. Luna. Yes! That is a banger! Absolute scorcher! Spectacular save from Dane St. Clair.
Action.
Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us here at halftime of this MLS Next Pro game between Real Monarchs and Tacoma Defiance. Sports, and specifically soccer, can inspire us in many ways. We want to introduce you to a very inspiring person out in Dallas. His name is Sean McGinty.
For FC Dallas team administrator Sean McGinty, soccer is more than a game. It's a platform for connection, for purpose, and for life-saving action.
My name is Sean McGinty. I am the player relations coordinator at FC Dallas. I started out as an intern actually with North Texas when I first got here, and then after about a month or two I got bumped up to the NTSC team administrator, and I've been working as the administrator for the last 2 years. And then following the 2024 season with NTSC, I got moved up to the player relations coordinator here at FC Dallas.
Raised by a professional goalkeeper and a pioneering orthopedic surgeon, Sean grew up at the intersection of passion and perseverance. But life threw its first challenge before he even left the hospital.
Sean is my first child.
And he was born with actually a congenital malformation of his gut, his large intestine. And so not known pre or anything like that. And he had to have a pretty major surgery within a week after being born. He had to have multiple surgeries in his first 3 years of life, where we were in and out of the hospital a lot. His goal in life was to get up and move and to play something. And he really, honestly, has maintained that amazing ability to just kind of get up and bounce back and do things.
That same drive took him to the pitch at UNC Asheville after his time at St. Louis University, where soccer became a means of connection and a source of something even bigger.
Sean was a teammate of mine going back for a few years at UNC Asheville. Sean's a dope dude. I mean, that's the best way to boil it down. Really great guy to be with on and off the pitch. Really bright too. I mean, I think he speaks like 4 or 5 languages. And as a footballer, I mean, he was just tenacious. I mean, he's kind of everything you wanted in a center back, not afraid to dive into a challenge and a workhorse. So great guy to know on and off the pitch.
Inspired by a cause to help blood cancer patients find life-saving stem cell donors, Taylor and Sean spearheaded a campus-wide effort. It would eventually save a life.
In grad school, I was introduced to a teammate of mine whose mother was dealing with a very rare form of cancer, and they were looking for stem cell donations or potential bone marrow donations for his mom, and that's when I signed up originally to be a part of the registry.
I was really, really proud of him. I think that a lot of people can be a little scared that, like, well, maybe this will be painful.
Having Sean donate was just really awesome. It meant a lot to see how Sean was invested in the cause and also how much it meant to him. I think a lot of our guys, when they signed up, you know, they do the cheek swab and fill out the form. They're like, yeah, I want to help, but things change when you get that call saying, like, you're a match. The process you're going through, quite literally giving a part of yourself to somebody else. And that, I think, really strikes home at a deeper level. And to see one of my friends and teammates be able to go through that experience was really, just really awesome.
What Sean didn't know at the time was the story of the man whose life he would help save.
I feel like it's not every day that you get to say that, like, hey, I potentially saved a life or did save a life. I don't really know if there are words to kind of put into, like, how that makes someone feel. Like, I feel really happy and I feel really good that I was able to impact someone's life.
It means the world to me, but he's always been that way. It's always been really who he is, and he's a humble person.
Through the National Marrow Donor Program, Sean was able to connect with the recipient of his donation.
We communicated through, the company had someone kind of mediate between us both to get, like, contact information. I wasn't allowed to, I wasn't given his name and I wasn't given like a phone number or anything like that, but he wrote a letter that was forwarded on to me from Be The Match for him to, like, be able to participate and, like, do more things, because I found out, like, he's a married man, he's got 2 daughters, like, him being able to have more time with his kids, it made me feel a lot better and really excited that he's in a year of remission and things are looking good for him. Just
is a blessing that he was able to really just extend that same gift that we have to another family so that they can have that as well, is just awesome in the true sense of the word.
I remember there was a point, like, when my mom was, like, really, really sick and we didn't know if it was gonna progress so bad that she would be disabled permanently, if she was not gonna be able to, like, go to work again. Like, we were really nervous at one point. So I know, like, having that feeling for someone else, I can only imagine how his kids were feeling or how his wife was feeling.
Every person in the registry is a light in the dark for someone. Sean McGinty became that light.
It's at no real cost to you, because not only will they pay for everything, but, like, there's no health risks really to it. They give you the stuff so you overproduce stem cells to minimize the effects for you. They really cater to your needs to make sure that you're okay while also making sure that someone else has the possibility to be okay. So I think it's a no-brainer for me. I think you should totally do it.
We're on this earth to kind of figure out who we are, what our place is, and honestly, it's to just to grow as humans and make connections and try to make the place a little bit better than it was when we got here, and doing something to help one person changes a whole world.
Yeah, I know I'm fully attracted. I'm hanging on like a fridge to a magnet. It's a jigsaw with all the right pieces. You and me, we go good together. You and I go good together. You and I, we go good together. We go good together.
Action.
Should be a fun season of MLS Next Pro. Oh my! Pedrinho wins it!
Este verano la Leagues Cup regresa más fuerte que nunca. Comenzamos con 36 clubes. En la primera fase, cada equipo jugará contra 3 equipos de la liga rival para determinar su posición en la fase de eliminación directa.
The 4 top-seeded clubs from each league will move on, ensuring interleague matchups all the way through the quarterfinals.
3 naciones, 2 ligas y un solo campeón. En Leagues Cup 2025,
It's dominance on the line.
Almost time for second half action, but first we are going to take a look back at our first half highlights from Harriman, Utah, between Real Monarchs and Tacoma Defiance. It was the visitors who had the chances early on. A ball tipped over the top by Trace Alfin. And then this was really the big moment. Could have changed the entire match when Dodzi ran through and he puts it just wide of the near post. After failing to score that opening goal, it was Real Monarchs who struck first through Brian Sandoval. Gets the ball off the corner kick, recycled, and what a finish it was. 33rd minute goal, his third of the season, to put the home side in front. But there was one more chance to be had in the first half as Tacoma Defiance, this was just moments after that goal was scored, coming right back into it, and then some free kick opportunities late in the half as well. But Real Monarchs, in the end, a 1-0 lead after the first 45. 5 shots to 3 advantage, a 3-0 advantage in the shots on target, and 6 fouls apiece for the two sides, battling for playoff position. In very different circumstances, though, Real Monarchs, as results stand, have moved up into 4th position. And if they are able to hold on to this win here, all 3 points, they would stay there until at least the conclusion of the Ventura County match that is now kicked off as well. Second half underway. My name is Parker Johnson, happy to be here with you as we come to a conclusion in the final weekend of August. September getting closer, and that means playoff time approaching. So much on the line every single game in MLS Next Pro, and the standings as bunched up as ever. We saw in both conferences last year how tight the margins were with ties along the playoff lines. Every single point, every single win makes such a huge difference at the end of the season. A trophy already won tonight in Seattle, Leagues Cup victory, and Tacoma Defiance looking for a comeback to really finish the night out on a high note. Monarchs Monarchs, though, a strong first half performance. As long as they are able to cover up some of those counter and set piece opportunities that Tacoma Defiance were able to come up with, their control of the game should pay off through the next 45, but not with loose passes like that one from Griffin Dillon. Latched onto here by Petter. Plays it inside. Tsukunome! Stand corrected. I think that was Peter Kingston coming in from midfield with the left-footed shot, and what a save. Trace Alfin called upon within 2 minutes of our second half kickoff. A bright start to the second period for Tacoma Defiance. Strong header at the back post, still alive though for Tacoma. Kingston is offside after taking that corner kick. Couldn't quite work his way back ahead of the defenders. Halftime changes that we are aware of, and as I say that, I think I've actually spotted one with Rhea getting a touch on the ball coming off the bench for Real Monarchs. I was wondering, just given the upcoming international duty for a few of these youth international prospects, how long it would take to make some changes in this one. Mark Lowry getting Perea involved. Looks like it was Zambrano that I'm not seeing out there. Perea playing center forward. We mentioned in the first half, Marco Zambrano. Back to that in a sec as Sandoval, the goal scorer, making inroads. Looking for Perea. It's Moisa. Zambrano, one of those called into United States under-20 youth national team. We'll have a couple of matches in Spain before they prepare for the upcoming under-20 World Cup. World Cup taking place late in September in Chile this year. Zambrano expected to be one of the important forwards for the United States. So they preserve him with a halftime swap, bringing Perea on, Missouri State product. And another one of those first-round draft picks for RSL this year. He was the 19th overall pick after winning Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Year honors. End line, Sandoval wins a corner for the home side. Spotted on the far side, another swap from Mark Lowry and Real Monarchs with Tommy Silva, number 33, right in the middle of your screen, hugged by Tsukunome at the moment. Ball in, cleared by Tacoma. They've got space in transition, but the numbers late to arrive. Crossfield pass. Will the goalkeeper come out? Alfin eventually does, and his clearance high and dry. On move, Charlie Gaffney. Curled in by Carly. Dante is there at the back stick, dropping it off, and the cut through intercepted by Moisa. Mentioned his name a ton tonight, but Yu Tsukunome playing in the number 10 role, wearing number 36 for Tacoma Defiance. One of the key figures heading into this match. 13 goals on the season. He tallied again against Portland Timbers in the last match. Currently third in the MLS Next Pro Golden Boot standings. And if you really want to level out the playing field in that Golden Boot race, take away the penalty kicks and see what happens, because Yu Tsukunome goes straight to the top of the list. He has not scored a single penalty this season. Did miss on one, but all 13 of his goals coming from open play. Meanwhile, our leader, Sam Sarver, 8 penalties on his 15 goals. Kai Joyner, 14 for St. Louis City, and he scored 5 penalty kicks. Giovia. Breaking end line. A towering header from Max Jennings. Jennings, a very impressive athlete. I was talking to Mark Lowry about their match against the Town FC, and he described his team as having to suffer through that 0-0 draw in a good way. It's a common saying in the soccer universe, popular by the likes of Diego Simeone, Mikel Arteta, about playing negatively and enjoying it. And he said that there aren't really a lot of players in Next Pro who enjoy that kind of thing, but it's what professional soccer, and in particular playoff soccer, can be all about. So he was proud of his team's ability to lean into that a bit against the Town FC, one of the top teams in the conference, come away with the draw. And he said that there are a handful of players who are better at it than others, and Max Jennings does fall in that category for Real Monarchs, a player whose physical tools have really set him up for great success. I also mentioned Villa, man, playing at right wing back as somebody with bulldog mentality, the type of players that really thrive with their backs against the wall. Monarchs encouraged to express themselves a bit more as they come forward, and Shore right on time at the back post to come get it. Defiance moving in transition. It's the Englishman Rafferty Petter, eager to make an impact. Hasn't gotten a lot of burn this year. Wade Weber disclosed to me that they're hoping to get a read on his status moving forward here over these last couple of games. Give him an opportunity to show what he's all about. Former Spurs Academy product. Yes, Tottenham Hotspur driving here with the ball against Villa. Can't dig out a cross, but does earn another corner for Tacoma Defiance. The other team has looked particularly dangerous on the first balls from their set pieces, but do remember Real Monarchs' goal coming off of the second opportunity from a corner on this very side in the first half. Swung into the back post. Silva, the man who heads it through to the far side and safety. They are looking for the throw. Dodzy always a good target. Speaking to it by the Monarchs defender. Kingston. Great switch of play. Drop back for Villard. Tacoma Defiance trying to find their rhythm. Tsukunome spinning. Petter is in, cuts it back, and what a save! Second shot blocked off the line. And offside in the buildup. But you can't wipe that one off the highlight reel for Trace Alfin. We see Aiden Hezarkhani preparing to enter the fray, one of many homegrown players on this Real Monarchs team.
Leaving the match, number 87, Brian Sandoval.
Brian Sandoval departs, our match winner as things stand, with a 33rd minute goal. Hezarkhani will provide plenty of problems for the Tacoma back line. A left-footed player who Real Salt Lake first team coach Pablo Mastroeni describes as having the sixth sense of football. This portion of the match is brought to you by Zion's Bank, the official bank of Real Monarchs. Zarkani still waiting for the green light. It was a Tacoma Defiance throw. Rafferty Petter, his influence growing. Tried to leak it over to the far side. Spotted the run of Carly, but in trying to stay onside with that last moment step from the Monarchs defenders, wasn't able to catch up to the pass. And the Monarchs were trying to wait to see if they could get Hezarkhani on the pitch there. It seemed like they were gesturing towards the sideline, and I still think he hasn't come on yet. Maybe there's some kind of equipment issue, or there he goes. Forgot to take an earring out or something. Curled forward. Petter looking dangerous once more. Dodzy arriving a bit late, as Petter had chewed up all the turf and gotten way ahead of his teammates. Bright signs, though, from the young winger out of Maidstone, England, 23 years of age. Last played for Queen's Park Rangers, but had a couple of loan spells. Last with Oxford. Never able to make it stick across the pond. An immensely talented player, and Wade Weber said that his style is more about creating for others than it is about being a potent goal-scoring threat. But he has a great mix of dribbling ability, vision, and the willingness to put in a shift up and down the wing. All qualities that are certainly desired at any level. something good has come up the left side for Tacoma. Here they go again. Kingston leading the last line of defense. Has Petter for help. Damien Alvarez. Gomez. Again, it's Kingston. And Villa stands him up well. There's that bulldog tendency that Mark Lowry spoke of. His young wing back. So for anybody who was wondering about that extended delay in getting Aiden Ezerkani onto the pitch, it was a direct result of Brian Sandoval taking too long to come off the pitch, the player he was substituting off. And so that was the reason for the delay. Referee trying to level the playing field and discourage any further time wasting going forward. That is the old coach's trick of subbing that furthest player across the field. It was remedied when the rules began to instruct players to go off on the far side of the field if they were that furthest man, and it was the closest distance to get off the field. Sandoval did not take that route, and I guess that was the punishment given to Real Monarchs. So we inform you as we are informed of what exactly went on there. I have to say I like it though. It's a bit like giving an early yellow card. Once you've established the punishment, well, players are discouraged from breaking the rules. So we'll see how that comes into play on future substitutions for the Monarchs. Can still make a few more changes. They've only used that one substitution window, given that they did make the halftime changes, and that does not count against one of their windows. A little bit more depth to their squad in this traveling Tacoma Defiance team. Wade Weber a bit shorthanded, as all the first teamers were kept along with the Sounders for that Leagues Cup final to take that in as a squad. Dodzi on the chase, and he's beat to it by Alfin, who has been spotless in the Monarchs goal. Came into this match ready to highlight Will Mackey and how much his performances have helped out this Real Monarchs back line. And in comes Alfin, and the level not dropping off in the slightest. Good problem to have for the likes of Mark Lowry. And this could be even better. Berea! 2-0, Real Monarchs. Double the advantage. A sweet shot from Jesus Berea, his 7th goal of the season. Real Monarchs in full control at home. Let's see it again. Credit Griffin Dillon for that ball over the top, and it's the halftime sub combining. Tommy Silva picks out Berea. He heads it back across the goalkeeper. Perfect form. Might have to work on the crossover a little bit, but he's pretty darn good at this game called football. The Cadiz native, first-round draft pick. and a real talisman of this squad. 7 goals in just 13 appearances in his debut campaign here in MLS Next Pro.
Monarchs goal number 36, Jesus Padilla.
You gotta say, with the momentum that this team is enjoying right now, even playing without a few guys available, a few of the first teamers, and those on international duty, the depth present in this Monarch squad, they do look like a playoff team. Meanwhile, I believe I've spotted Omar Hassan on the far side for Tacoma Defiance, as Wade Weber gets up close and personal with the Monarchs goal scorer. So Hassan came on for Edson Carley. We can hear the PA informing us. And you see him on that far side, number 43, a diminutive figure, but that does not describe his presence out there. Became the youngest goal scorer in Tacoma Defiance history when he scored on his debut last season. Just 16 years old, Omar Hassan. Followed that up with 1 goal this season in 10 appearances. Bit of a do-it-all winger. And according to the U.S. Soccer Collective, he is the #1 prospect in the Seattle Sounders Academy. And that is a rankings list that evaluates players based on their potential for the United States national team. Lowry happy with the defensive work from his squad. He could smell the playoffs. We spoke to him this week. He emphasized to me how important it is for this team to be winning games. There can be differences in schools of thought across different MLS clubs when it gets to this part of the next pro season, especially for those who a playoff spot is maybe not looking as likely, trying to get minutes in some of their developmental players. But he said it's about a 60-40 edge in terms of his priorities, winning matches, and the club helps balance him out in the other direction, make sure that the right guys are getting the right minutes, that those required for international duty are having their legs saved a bit, as they have been in this match, but been able to put together a great stretch of form, looking at potentially their 4th win in 6 matches. Tacoma Defiance have 20 minutes to try to change that. This portion of the match is presented by Intermountain Health, the power of we. There's a couple changes sent in by Wade Weber. We will see 1 more experienced player and 1 young gun as we shift things up in the Tacoma Defiance attack. First of all, Jackson Curry, a known product across his time in USL League One, and carried it over with 3 goals, 2 assists this year, making his 20th appearance for Tacoma Defiance. But the other man to come on, none other than the 17-year-old forward, Leo Flores, who made his pro debut earlier this season against Real Monarchs. He scored 28 goals for the under-18 academy team last season, doing so as an under-17. A prolific goal-scoring talent on the pitch for Tacoma Defiance, and one certainly for those Seattle fans to keep an eye on. It was a very fascinating scenario when he did get his pro debut. It was here in Harriman when they played back in June, and Wade Weber, despite being the director of development, was also the coach on the sideline for that game. Cleaned up here by Alfin. Wade Weber, at the time, was filling in for both Hervé Diese and Michael Morris. Michael Morris gone for the same reason he is tonight, working with the under-20 national team. And at the time, Diese wasn't with the team for that match, and so he came in as the third option. Tonight, he's the second option, but the longtime S2 coach and Tacoma Defiance coach has had to fill in twice, and boy, he has put that trust in Leo Flores. You see him patrolling the center forward spot. Could be the next great striker to come out of this academy. This makes just his second pro appearance tonight. Just a signal of how much every moment matters in Next Pro, how everybody is watching. 18 minutes left here, a 2-goal deficit, but a real opportunity for him to prove himself. Corey getting some minutes late on. We saw what Petter was able to do for Tacoma Defiance. Someone like Villar making his first start of the season. Tino Lopez at the back, just his second. Griffin Dillon pinging a ball across the pitch. Not so dissimilar from the one that set up Real Monarchs' second goal. A little too much sauce on that one, though. Tsukunome has been short of touches. All he touches is grass after he's brought down by Ezerkani.
Yellow card caution, Real Monarchs, number 39, Aiden Ezerkani.
It's a decent long ball looking for Kouri. First time ball across, and it was a good one. Flores making neat contact with it. Flies just past the post. How about this for a bit of direct play? One ball over the top, one touch across in the first time finish attempt. Phenomenal technique on display from Tacoma Defiance. Doesn't result in the goal. Reminiscent of that first half opportunity from Dodzy that just snuck past the wrong side of the post. And this will be the final sub for Real Monarchs as Matthew Bell enters the match. Bell, 23-year-old Jamaican international, hails from Kingston. Went to college at Marshall, where he was the number 16 overall pick in the 2024 MLS Super Draft. Played all of last season with Real Monarchs, 15 starts, 20 appearances, 4 goals to his name. But he's dealt with a handful of injuries this year, just making his way back to fitness, and he's played 11-minute, 18-minute, and 7-minute cameos across the last 3 matches. At his best, an incredibly dynamic attacker with great first-team potential. Jennings retreating, playing it safe with the 2-goal lead. This portion of the match is presented by America First, the official credit union of Real Salt Lake. America First has game-changing solutions for every financial need. So join the winning team today at americafirst.com. Luka Moisa battling away as Arcani slides it out. Played through, looking for Bell. Had eyes on his first goal of the season. Another offside decision, though. Slick play from Real Monarchs. Crossfield ball to bring in Hassan. He did stay onside, looking for help. The one-on-one war with Tommy Silva, won by the Real Monarchs man. Taking a look at the other match remaining this evening in Next Pro, it's a 1-0 halftime lead for North Texas over Ventura County. That is good news for the Real Monarchs fans because Ventura County came into the evening in 4th place. Real Monarchs with a chance to jump them with all 3 points here. They're in position to do so, and it looks like Ventura County have a long way to go to come back in that match. The only way they could stay ahead of Real Monarchs is if they do get a win against North Texas. They trail by a goal at halftime. At the other end of the table, though, that North Texas lead is bad news for Tacoma Defiance because looking like they may not get any points out of this one. Tacoma, they would stay at 27 points on the season. And North Texas, another one of those teams in that crowded bunch just below the playoff line. But I believe if they do hang on and win against Ventura County, that would see them up into the top 8. For Real Monarchs, scoreboard watching important because there are only 5 games remaining after this one. Tacoma Defiance do have 1 more to play. They'll have 6 after this, 4 of those coming at home as Corey navigates his way into the box. An awkward landing for Maximus Jennings, who is slow to get back to his feet here. A little less rest as well for Tacoma Defiance. They're back in action on Thursday at home against Whitecaps FC 2. Just another look at the contact. Hard to tell exactly what aggravated Jennings on that, but it was an awkward tumble. And then he's played the ball right off of the goal kick and forced to work with it. Villa drawing in the foul. Ryan Chaplin will have an extra word with Charlie Gaffney. I'm sure the under-17 international team won't be too excited to see Mr. Villa getting up slowly to his feet. He will join Luka Moisa in camp in Noordwijk, Netherlands, and they will compete against the Flying Dutchman on September 5th and September 8th. So you can expect those couple players to miss the next match as they prepare for the Under-17 World Cup in Qatar later this year. playing for Team USA. A couple of other Real Monarchs Academy players with their national teams for the U17s as well, who have not made appearances this year for the Monarchs in Next Pro, but Felix Contreras with the Mexican team, and Van Parker, one of the heavy hitters off of their academy teams, is with the Canadians, who went unbeaten in qualifying for that Under-17 World Cup. Mark Lowry said that across the first and second teams, a total of as many as 12 or 13 players will be missing from Real Monarchs. A great ball in behind. Alfin comes out, and a great tackle. He won the ball cleanly, and did he have to? Look at this ball spotted across the pitch. And it looks like Alfin got there cleanly. Referee had a great view of it. Hassan was frustrated, but it's been that kind of night for Tacoma Defiance. Those 50-50s not quite going their way. They might have shaved a bit of paint off of the post on a couple of occasions. Just not coming off for Wade Weber and his crew. Tino Lopez makes his way forward, spots Hassan in behind. Jennings running back towards his own goal, has to smack it behind. Rather, that was Masalas. Tacoma want to craft a way back into this game. They're going to need a first goal quickly. 2-0 lead. They call it the most dangerous in soccer. It's Hassan at the back post! And he was offside. It was so hard to tell from our angle. I thought that he might have timed it perfectly. He comes from outside the frame. The line is stepping up, and really impossible for us to tell. So you have to see to the assistant referee, who was right in front of it. But on the heels of that change, one final switch for Wade Weber. We'll see Biram Joe. But first, it's Bell. Close control inside the box. Scampered away by a couple of Tacoma defenders. On comes Barea, our second goal scorer, rolling across looking for Bell. Zarkani, head up, right foot, and he finds the back of the net. Aiden Hezarkani makes it 3. A complete performance from Real Monarchs. And a triple to seal it. Hezarkani so accomplished with his left. He comes onto his right, and you're not sure that he's gonna shoot it. But he pulls it off with the utmost precision. Catching Shore on his heels. It's a sensational finish from the 18-year-old forward. His 6th goal of the season. third different goal scorer and the second one to come off the bench for Real Monarchs.
Real Monarchs goal number 39, Aiden Hezerkani.
Joe gets his first touch of the ball. New left back who came on to replace Charlie Gaffney for Tacoma Defiance in the final moments. Continue to pressure. Leo Flores not giving up on it. He rolls it forward to Corey. I think with the angle he was working there, the only thing he could really look for was to try to draw the goalkeeper out and maybe earn a penalty kick. Some late consolation for Tacoma. Alphen too clever for it. Real Monarchs looking for their third clean sheet in 6 matches, and why that sequence is important is that it was 5 games ago that they switched to the back 3. Since then, they have looked increasingly resolute. A team that has only conceded 35 goals this season. You look at that and you think that's a pretty good record, but they only had 2 clean sheets on the year before that change to the back 5. As they head into the playoffs, that flexibility will be so crucial. We'll see Farnsworth replaced by Izzy Amparo here. And that will be a switch at the back. Amparo more of a midfield player, so that requires somebody else to drop in. You see Tommy Silva looks like going into the back line instead of playing as a full-time wingback, but Farnsworth was playing at the middle of the back 3, and I can tell you one thing, that is not where Amparo will be playing. It's a high boot from Joe, but referee allowing play to continue with Flores. Massalas has shifted into the middle of the back 3. Amparo comes out to the right wing back position. Curry into the box, riding one challenge, cutting it across. Knocked back. Gomez, fancy feet, frees up his left. And Massalas with a roar. As the Monarchs trying desperately to hold on to this clean sheet. Set piece comes in. Alphen with a phenomenal save. Not for the first time tonight. The 22-year-old Trace Alphen, second-round draft pick, has really shown well against Tacoma. They've scored some nice goals, Real Monarchs, but without Alphen's contributions, this game would look a whole lot different. He's got 5 saves now. Corey. Clever skill. But he was offside before it all went down. Let's take another look at the save from Alphen. Great reflexes. A strong left wrist. Finally a set piece that posed some danger as we're into 3 minutes of stoppage time here. All that's left for Real Monarchs to try to seal the shutout. .3-0 was a good scoreline for the Seattle fans earlier tonight. Leagues Cup winners over Inter Miami. Not so lucky for the second team. Kingston on the dribble. Pass 2 and 3. Tsukunome prowling in the box. Can never rule him out from scoring a goal. Speared across from Joe. Tacoma still pressing. Corey did not keep it in play. The closing slate for Real Monarchs is manageable. They're gonna have a couple of tough ones. Next week, they're on the road at last place Sporting KC2. The 3 points here was of great importance. If they can follow it up with a win against them, they'll return home to play against Ventura County before back-to-back away matches against LAFC2 and North Texas. Those could be very decisive come the end of the season. On decision day, they'll have Vancouver Whitecaps 2 at home. And another offside flag goes up. Correa doesn't get a chance to get his second of the evening. Amparo comes in late, but play continuing for Tacoma. Can they snatch a consolation? Hezarkhani will leave with a parting gift from Biram Joe, and I think that ought to be enough for just about everybody involved. The yellow card pulled back for the previous challenge as they let play continue, and we tick over the 93-minute mark. A decisive performance from Real Monarchs. The final stats will only show a 7-6 shot advantage, but they've put 5 of them on target. They've converted clinically. Tacoma Defiance had some bright moments, but kept out on multiple occasions by Trace Alfin. Simply did not have enough on the road, playing shorthanded under their replacement coach. Will Berea add one more as Arcani falling to the ground and bringing our match to a close. 3-0 in favor of Real Monarchs as they move into 4th place for now in the MLS Next Pro Western Conference standings. That will be good enough for a home game if it ends that way this season. Our man of the match is the 20-year-old Colombian Brian Campas Sandoval, who scored our opening goal clear back in the 33rd minute. It was a game with a little bit of a dry start. It was begging for a moment of magic, and Sandoval delivered. This was the opener. Real Monarchs would go on to tack on 2 more, but the advantage would have never been there if not for Brian Sandoval and his 3rd goal of the season. So he is our man to match. His goal followed up by tallies in the 66th minute from Jesus Berea and the polisher from Aiden Hezarkhani in the 86th minute to bring our final score to Monarchs 3, Tacoma Defiance 0. For our entire MLS Next Pro crew, my name is Parker Johnson. Don't forget, you can watch MLS Next Pro all season long at MLS Next Season Pass on Apple TV and MLSNextPro.com. Good night, everyone.
This copyrighted broadcast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.